Three, two, one.
Alright, welcome back to Potterthon 9, everybody, benefiting the Trevor Project, which is a very important, a great cause, because we can't live in a society without letting people be themselves. And much like that, we can't have a trifecta without HP3. We've just seen HP 1 and 2, and now joining us for an HP3 Hundo run, welcome in Nixo.
Yeah, hello, thank you very much. I'm very ready to finish this trifecta, this unofficial trifecta build of different categories, so...
I mean, I'm sure it'll be a leaderboard that you'll have to top 10 in at some point. We can make that a thing, don't worry.
Oh yeah, you will, I know you will. Yeah.
Alright.
I guess we're good to kick this off, right?
Yes, if you give yourself a countdown so the hosts know when to start your timer, then we can get this party on the road.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll turn up myself a little bit because I'm getting some word from the chat I'm totally not looking at that I'm a bit quiet. Should be better now though. And then I guess we kick this off in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. HP3, the third game of the trifecta, as people said, which means you might expect similar strats than the ones we had before, but that's kind of not the case, because this is a very different engine. It's the Unreal Engine 2, as opposed to Unreal Engine 1 for HP 1 and 2, so pretty much all of the strats you've seen, both Flow and Castu, we don't really have in HP3. They have a couple of other ones though, obviously. Most of them are very movement based, so a lot of little small tricks. We're also doing 100%, so the longest and most convoluted category, I guess, that this game has to offer. So I really hope I don't miss anything. But we'll see. We should be okay. I guess we can go through or over the things we have to collect for this 100% run. It's actually a lot of stuff, but also not, if that makes sense. Because the main thing we need to get is all 80 wizard cards, which in this game sadly is a little bit difficult to do because some of them you have to buy. For others, you have to buy the portrait passwords in Fred and George's shop to get them, and so on and so on. So we need to collect a lot of currency. A lot of beans, pumpkin pastries, and cauldron cakes, which are the three currencies we have in this game. They added 2 more on top of the beans we had in HP 1 and 2. So it's gonna be a lot of running around picking up sweets during this run. What we also need is all secrets in all the level, which doesn't apply to that many level. It's only the spell challenges and one more level, I believe, that has secrets. So that should be pretty chill, and I think that's pretty much it for 100%. Like, as long as we get all cards in the end, we should be pretty set. Already doing the first skip of the run here, you saw me jump up on the crate, and then across where Scabbers is supposed to be. There's a cutscene that's supposed to trigger there, but by jumping on the crate you get high enough to jump over the trigger. Saves about 6 seconds, I believe, so it's a pretty neat little skip. Usually if you fail that in a run you just kind of reset because it's right at the start. Train is generally a very reset heavy segment because it has RNG at the end and a lot of somewhat finicky skips in the beginning. Like the one we're about to do in this room. Ron is gonna explain the mechanic you're supposed to do very soon, because they do not care about breaking the 4th wall at all in this. 3rd wall? I never know. They don't care about that in this game. They talk about mouse buttons, they talk about like magically locked cabinets that all 3 have to cast at, but you know, we can just do Ron and that's enough. Ron counts as all 3 apparently. That trick is called the Turncast, which is the first tech we will see that gets multiple uses in this game. Essentially every time there's a thin wall, if you stand right next to it and kinda turn into the wall and aim at the target on the other side, you can cast through it. So it's used on the gargoyle there, so we don't need all 3. It's used later on some switches, on some buttons, and like some chests and stuff. So that's the basic idea. Thankfully walls are more a suggestion in this game and not actually an intended mechanic. I mentioned the RNG earlier in this segment. This is where it's at. This is where a lot of people that hard grind this game reset very, very often, so PTSD segment for a lot of runners. It can spawn from 3 to 7 pages. We got 6, which is actually pretty okay. And as you can see, every time I hit a page, it takes damage. So obviously, if it's only 3 pages spawning, well, we can do a lot less damage. Or at least it takes a lot longer until the pages respawn. And this boss fight will also return later on. We have to beat him 5 times, or it 5 times, in order to get all 5 wizard cards of the set, which is one of the worst grinding segments in this run. I think only topped by Pixies, but we'll get to that. Yeah, anyone who's really played HP3 any percent has reset to this book multiple times. Also the first wizard card. Actually, I think an unskippable card, if I'm not wrong. Maybe you... I think the door doesn't open if you don't collect it, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't fully remember. So we got the first of 80. We're making good progress. 1/80th of the way there. Thankfully a lot of... At some point it gets a lot faster to collect them, but for now we're in the tutorial area, so they teach you all the basics. Like, hey, that is a Dementor. Dementor bat. Harry not like Dementor. And they also teach us the Pulsar. Well, we learned the Pulsar earlier actually, which is the spell most people very much dislike, because it has the same symbol as Rictus Sempra in HP2, as you've seen earlier when casted the spell learning, or rather failed the spell learning because no major glitches. And people are not sure why they replaced Flipendo with it. They took the Rictus Sempra symbol, called it the Pulsar, and replaced Flipendo with it. So that's what we're gonna use to skip or to flip switches from now on. And yeah, everyone pretty much hated that change. Even as a child, I was not happy about Flipendo being gone. As you've also noticed, we have a lot of unskippable cutscenes in this. Some of them are better than others. In all of them, Harry looks very dead inside. Pretty much everyone looks very dead inside.
But long cutscenes are a great time for a few donations, right?
That is very true. Go ahead.
Alright, we have a $10 donation from Busmolder03 saying, another one to start the next run. Good luck with the run, Nixo.
Thank you very much.
Incentive to Hufflepuff and the 1 GBA game swap, which is going great. And we also have a $50 donation by EdzuSG without a comment, but putting his donation towards Ravenclaw, who is rapidly catching up. So thank you so much for those donations. We have time for a quick... Yeah.
Absolutely.
Currently, Slytherin and Ravenclaw are tied in the poll at $100, and Hufflepuff, Team Puff still in the lead with 130, but it's really close, and Gryffindor on 0. Let's not mention that.
Sad. Gryffindor, what doing? Yeah, that's a lot of money. Thanks for all the donations. Anyway, so on the topic of cutscenes, you also see me skip some throughout the run. And cutscene skips are very special in this game. It's not like in HP2 where you just hold the button and it's always gonna skip. In this game there's separate strats to skip different cutscenes, but I get to those when we get to the cutscene skips. For now, we have Carpe, which a lot of people also kinda compare with Ron just being Tarzan and swinging through the challenge. This is probably the most broken spell in this entire game. Also, challenge shields. I forgot to mention those. We do need all 10 in every challenge for 100%. That was one of the things I forgot in the train. But essentially, the way those work is that whenever you cast on a Carpe, you're supposed to be pulled towards it like this. But if you're in mid-air while you cast on it, all of those wonky stuff happens, and Ron becomes Spider Ron or Tarzan Ron, whatever you want, really. I guess it's just the engine being jank. I don't actually know what the tech reasons behind it are. But that's how you get those swings, and they take a while to master, I would say, is fair to say. Because all of them are kind of different. Like, the timing casting is different, the inputs you have to hold in mid-air are different. Sometimes even, like, I don't know, you have to cast twice in mid-air. So there's a lot of different Carpe swings. We also get to meet the first real enemy in the game, the first one you can fight, and it's the imps. every speedrunner's nightmare, because it's an enemy you cannot cast on, you cannot use magic on. As Lupin says, your spells are useless. So you have to wait until they throw a cracker so you can defeat them. Which is RNG based. There are certain ways to manipulate them by walking like close to them or away from them, or you know, depends on the area, it's different. But they are mostly RNG based, and it's just incredibly annoying, and everyone has lost time and has lost runs to them before as well. Oh, that was kind of bad. A good thing about HP3, it's a lot more forgiving than HP1 and 2 as well. As you can see, I've been failing miserably 3 times now. That's actually very unusual. Even for me. There we go. But you don't fully die. You only take like a tiny bit of damage. Like you probably would have to fall into the abyss like 10 times in order to actually lose all your health. And that was one of the swings I mentioned earlier. We have to cast in mid-air again to make it across. Those are the coolest ones. They go like super, super far. Probably my favorite room to do in Hando. Kind of a shame it's already over. But I really do like that big room where I died in like 3 times. Yeah, you'll see me go into all the secrets, obviously. The one up top there gets triggered when you casted the 4 knights. I think we've done one before that I jumped into, which is not the actual intended way, as you probably expected. But those are... some of them are quite creative, some of them are kind of stupid. We get to see some examples of that as well later on. And then we have the crabs as well, classic staple in Harry Potter games. Technically HP1 has them as well, but 2 has them quite prominently. And in 3 they tweaked them a bit, so now they bounce, which is a really dumb change. Because you can't really push them into holds that well anymore. They can bounce off and like into it. And they're just overall really annoying. I fall down here on purpose in this room to close the door, which makes this swing a lot easier to get up here. So this one intended death, you need enough health for that, but it's usually never a problem. And there we go, that's the first half of Carpet done. Actually, not terrible, considering that all of those swings are kind of difficult. This room has a shield, you're supposed to go... what the hell? See, that's what I meant with the bouncy crabs. You're supposed to go down and like pull a thing, so there's a bridge here, but we can also just swing into it. Way more fun, way cooler to do. And then this room, the same thing, you're supposed to go all the way around, but who has time for that? Obviously not us. As a certified slow runner, I do not want that. And there's obviously another secret you can see in the top right every time there's a secret. What you can also see in the top right is similar to the other 2 runs you've watched before this, or you hopefully watched before this. We also capped the FPS in this game. We're gonna cap them to 60, or they are capped to 60 at this point. But in this game it's not as dramatic as in HP 1 and 2 if they go over. But there's certain soft locks that can happen, mostly with imps and portrait passwords. If you go too high on the FPS, then those just kind of freeze up and you can't really interact with them anymore. But even if I would play this game on like 1000 FPS, one would still not go super speed. So they do influence some things in this game, but not your movement speed, but still. We need to cap it so it's even playable, so you can finish this game. Otherwise this run would be over in the first room with the imp. Yeah, I think I got the card, I hope. I had a run where that card fell through the grate in the floor, which is amazing that that is possible and that they coded the hitbox properly. But yeah, do not want that right now. I do not want to restart the entire carpet challenge or replay it. We also got all 10 shields, which means we got into the bean bonus room as a reward. But we don't really want to be in here because there's only beans. And beans in this game are very easy to get. So we just jump into the trigger that gets us out, and we don't have to wait out the entire bean bonus room. Interestingly enough, that trigger only exists for Ron Weasley. So I guess the teachers really, they like to bully him. They don't want him in the bean bonus room. So for Harry and Hermione, it just spawns Ron in if you hit that same trigger. This here is probably the biggest skip of the run, if I could get it. There we go. You're supposed to follow Fred and George up to their shop. And then like there's a peace fight with a lot of unskippable cutscenes, and you get the portrait passwords. And there's a Neville cutscene and all kinds of stuff. But instead we just kinda slide up on the torch and make it outside. So we skip the entirety of their shop and the entirety of the peace fight and everything. Grounds is probably my favorite area, the one we're in right now. Just because of all the cool secrets they've built in and all the actually interesting mechanics. Even though when I was very young, I molded very hard at this minigame. I don't know why, but I was like incapable of hitting all of those switches in time. Really don't know why. It's not that difficult if you think about it now. But young me could not remember where they are and could not remember the order. But it's essentially the 4 houses. Their faces in the switches, and you have to find the correct ones to get the Phoenix card. Which is also a small, which is also a small change from HP2 and HP1, where you haven't seen Hundo runs of it today, sadly, but the cards in those games are exclusively witches and wizards. In this game they branched out a bit and they added Fantastic Beasts rather, or Trolls and, no, Giants, not Trolls, sorry. So Fantastic Beasts, Trolls, nope, Giants, same thing, Dragons, all kinds of stuff, that's my point. So there's a couple more diversity in the cards, which, I don't know, I kinda like. Very fun to read through those, in all of the card descriptions. A lot of them are also based on, like, actual tales that we have in the Muggle world, so to speak. A lot of the vampires and giant cards specifically. But there we go, that's the grounds. Segment 1 done. Starting with another cutscene. This one is just Malfoy bullying Buckbeak, which he will get his karma for that later on in one of the best cutscenes of the game. Sadly, this level introduces us to one of the less fun mini-games for most people. I enjoyed this as a child again, but from a speedrunning point of view, it's not very interesting. Essentially, it's Superman 64 again, in a different style. Or 3D Flappy Bird, I've heard people call this as well, which is pretty accurate. So you have to fly through rings, and if you have enough rings at the end of the course, then you get a wizard card. There's 5 of those, we have to do all 5, of course. It is still the best of the 3 extra mini-games, that is very true. Fighting the monster book and the pixies is definitely worse. The only reason I can withstand this right now is because I'm looking forward to the cutscene, really. Yeah, you see at the top right, I need 1500 points, and we have 700 already, so this is really easy. I don't really know why they made it like, why one ring is worth 100 points and not just one, but I guess higher numbers look better. Because you cannot get like 50 or something, there's no half points for rings, so it's always a clean 100. We've also always, like every single one of us runners of this game has been there to fail this minigame. As free as it is, everyone's had this one run where they just somehow failed white rings, and nobody wants to talk about it, but that's how it goes sometimes.
I don't want to talk about it.
A collector's card.
That was really well done, Harry. Come back to the
I don't even remember when it
anytime you
happened to
want
me for
another
the
go.
last time, but
There's 5 courses to fly in all.
it definitely
and you
did.
can win a collector's card on each
And yeah, I announced this cutscene before.
I bet you're not
It's one of the highlights of this game.
Great ugly brute. I'm dying.
Malfoy getting
Look at
fully
me.
murdered
It's
by
killed
Buckbeak.
me.
And then Hagrid,
not dying.
thankfully, cures him instantly.
Do you think he'll be
The
alright?
Giga Chad wizard that he is.
Of course.
And
Neither
Malfoy
Potter
just
can make
walks
much
away
about a
because,
second.
you know,
You can bet Malfoy
like nothing
will make
happened.
something out of this.
I'm pretty sure there's a clip of that on my channel. Okay, to the topic of cutscene skips. This one is one of the worst. And you can hit it very well if you have the timing right, and this cutscene skip is like 2 seconds faster, or I think even 3, I don't know. Like a lot faster, but it's very specific timing. Like you have to start mashing and then stop and then start again or something like that. It's It's really silly. And all of the cutscenes you can skip essentially have like a different way and a different timing. Which makes it actually kind of annoying to learn for a speedrun. Especially for someone like me who doesn't have memory at all. So yeah. I definitely still mess them up quite often. Also, this is supposed to be the second peace fight, which is the only peace fight we cannot skip in the entire trifecta actually if you play any percent. Every other peace fight gets skipped in one way or another. I guess, except if you play HP1 on Norwegian, you technically do the first peace fight. But it's possible to skip every other peace fight if you play on the correct versions. It's not a... Yep, sorry. Man, I thought you wanted to say something. I got confused. Anyways, it's not a very fun fight, but at least we got past it now.
We'd better get on to Transfiguration class. Peeves has probably made us late.
And we can head into a very long cutscene once again, where we're gonna go flexes a bit with her magical abilities of turning into a cat.
Did somebody say cutscene?
I was wondering if you have something for us.
We do. We have a $10 donation by Dead Saber saying, "Well done, Ron. And you found all 10 challenge shields." Thank you so much for the donation. And that actually puts us past Potterthon 4 and Potterthon 1.
Hey.
Which means in just over 3 hours you already smashed the first 4 installments of Potterthon. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. It's really appreciated. And that also means we're 260 of 300 towards bringing the 1 GBA game swap intervals down to 15 seconds. So we're getting close on that, and that's going to be chaotic and fun. So thank you all for all the generosity.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. That's some good stuff. Very, very nicely done so far, everyone. Yeah, we enter... not Herbology. Transfiguration. One of the games where you don't have a Herbology lesson. And this is actually an interesting challenge because you learn 2 spells. The only instance ever in the trifecta where you learn 2 spells in the lesson. Because first we have Lapiforce, which makes us transform statues into rabbits. And then later on you learn Draconiforce as well, which does the same but for dragons, or for a dragon, so you can fly around. Which, it's one of my favorite levels, to be honest, just because of how chill it is. But it also still has some pretty neat tricks that are all kind of movement based and jump and run based. It really feels like Herbology, honestly. Like there's a lot of plants and like grass and the bunny and you know, feels very in peace with nature. Another turn cast here to get the bunny early and to get the cauldron cake that's hidden behind. We'll need a lot of those. I actually don't remember. It's always gonna work out, so I'm not too worried about those. I don't remember the full amount. But you need about 2,000 beans and about... not about, exactly 410 pumpkin pasties. So that's the amount we need to end up on later. Something around 100 cauldron cakes, I believe. I don't really remember. Again, those I'm not worried about. Those usually work out without issues. So, but the other 2 currencies we'll keep an eye out, just in case. Get some here. I might as well play it safe. There's a chest down here guarded by imps that has cauldron cakes, which I usually don't get because it's kind of slow, but since we're doing some marathon stuff, we might as well. This is also probably one of the most controversial rooms in this game, I think it's fair to say, because it has one of the most controversial tricks, which had several discussions over the years if it should be allowed, if it's PC dependent, if it's fair. But for now it is allowed, so instead of doing anything with the dragon, we jump off here and make the game lag. I do that with holding print screen, which is a button on your keyboard at the top right kind of. So if you hold that, this game kind of starts lagging. And with that, Hermione jumps a bit further. It's used, I think, only, well, once in this run, I think. It's used twice in any percent. And I guess once as a backup if you fail another trick. So it's not like it's a giant trick that's gonna be, you know, completely run deciding if you can do it or not. But it's a pretty neat like 20-second time save because there's a long cutscene afterwards and stuff. It's the button you take screenshots with, exactly, but we do not use it for screenshots in this, which is why I kind of do like this trick. It's kind of cool. Dumb secret here that I have forgotten plenty of times in my life. Trying to 100% this game. Yeah, people used to go to the menu back in the days. Another turncast here to solve this minigame, hopefully. There we go. There's a knight that essentially clears the path down. Yeah, what people used to do before the print screen method was allowed, really, was jumping and then going to the graphics settings and changing the graphics either from low to high or from high to low. And that also caused enough lag to get Hermione across. We just have to go through here. There's cauldron cakes in here, but they're usually not worth it. But it is a secret, so we have to go in there with Hermione because sadly, both the dragon and the bunny do not trigger the secret. This room is actually really cool. This is not known for too long. We didn't do this for too long, but you can turncast the chest and the card goes through the gate. So you don't have to solve the puzzle for the card. You can just cheese it like that. The shield sadly you have to open, but the card is pretty free. And now we have the Bundemum. Yeah, there's some Bundemum enthusiasts in chat, I can already see, that's good. I don't know, there isn't much to say about this thing. It's a very weird enemy design, but it does drop pumpkins, so I kinda like it. We need 410 after all, so... There we go. We won't clear too many of those. I think as a matter of fact that's the only one because it's required, and defeating those is incredibly slow. Like they take 5 years to actually produce the reward. So we kind of just dodge all of them and we have enough currency anyways. And then we have the imps. This room can be very satisfying or it can go very wrong. Oh, that was nice. That was 3. That was horrible. It was such a good start. And then then they didn't line up anymore. Oh well. I guess we'll take it. You can get, I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen anyone cleared with 1 throw, but you can definitely do it in 2. Another sliding puzzle here, which obviously you just learn the order. Not much to it, but you do want all 3 of those. Pumpkins, cards, and cauldron cakes. And the secret over the door. And then this. This is probably the coolest trick of this level. Because you can use this door, not like that, but you can use this door to skip the maze. So now you're on top of the maze and you can even walk around on it. Which we don't really need, but you know, you could if you wanted to. And that way we save this entire walk around the maze, which isn't actually that long. People always think it saves a lot, but it really doesn't. But it's still kind of cool, and it saves a bit. It's a cool trick to skip some maze stuff. And we obviously take any time save we can. I don't even know how many times you can fail it until it starts losing time. Like, we definitely still save time with it, getting it second try for sure. It's another card, 16. We're on 8 out of 8 secrets. I think the level with the most secrets, which is a good sign. Now we just need all shields as well, which I'm kind of raging I didn't miss anything. Okay, very good. We do not have to replay Transfiguration either, amazing. So only getting through glaciers and then we should be good to go. Unlike the Ron Beam bonus room, as I mentioned earlier, this one we cannot get out of. So there's no trigger to warp us out. I will trigger the triggers that exist because they're fun. But for now we just have to collect currency. Hermione has the most cauldron cakes in her Beam bonus room. So we're gonna make quite a lot of progress towards those 100 cauldron cakes. It's a good time for donations if we have any, because it's like 2 minutes of collecting stuff. But yeah, if we don't have any, otherwise I'll just
not at the moment. No.
I'll just keep up collecting beans in that case. That works well for me.
Well, this might be a good opportunity then to once again shout out the charity that we're raising money for, which is the Trevor Project, and they're doing amazing work with suicide prevention and general mental health care for LGBTQ young people around the world, not only providing direct help to them, but also in trying to create a better world and, more importantly, a safer world for LGBTQ people and specifically youth. So that's what this Potterthon is raising money for, so that everybody gets to be themselves. And you guys have been popping off already. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's quickly what I wanted to say about it.
Perfect. That was very much spot on, I would say. Very good stuff so far from the Potterthon, and we're actually getting towards the end of the beam bonus room, so perfect timing as you see the timer running out in the top right. I will trigger the things once we collected everything. There we go, because this trigger used to get run out of the beam bonus room, now it spawns him in, and then this one spawns Hermione back in. The time continues. This is absolutely useless, it's just kind of cool that they exist.
Well, somebody in chat said, oh, you guys need donations, and now there's this person called Pilk Pope who has donated $20 saying hashtag Team Puffs, putting his donation towards Hufflepuff in the Hogwarts Legacy house poll. So thank you so much for that donation, Mr. Pilk Pope, whoever you might be.
Yeah, I wonder. Could be anyone really, but very generous, that's what they are, certainly. Whoever may be the Pilk Pope. Yeah, no, thank you very much. That's cool. Just as we make it out of the beam bonus room. Which, unfortunately, means we have to sit through a couple more cutscenes, so, you know, if people have more donations, it's a good timing. I'm just saying. But we're playing Quidditch. This is the best Quidditch of the series, I like to say at least. My favorite mechanics and favorite gameplay beats out pretty much every other Harry Potter game. I just hope I'm not gonna fall off the broomstick today. But for now we have to look around and play brilliantly, clearly. He does play pretty brilliantly, I gotta give it to him. Chasing the snitch in high speed. I guess it is pretty much the longest in Trifecta. That's a good point. I hope I can get Quidditch IL world record. I usually fail about like here. I will see. I think that's a bad sign. I think we're crashing. Yeah, I'm not good at this segment. The pixel 2D Dementors always just like the too much for me. But now that we're done with Quidditch and we got that out of the way, we have another unique mechanic, and I think that's what describes HP3 the best. It's very unique in like pretty much everything it does. This one you have to charge. Usually it's always point and click for the spells. You point at something, you click, the spell flies. This one you have to hold down the left mouse button. Which is a terrible design, by the way. I hate this spell. It's an awful spell, but it's a cool change of pace, I guess. It's a cool innovation. Also, probably the shortest challenge in this entire game, because it's basically just this tutorial where you learn the charge, and then one corridor and you're kind of done. So they didn't really feel like building much for this. There's currency to the left and right here, but I'm pretty sure I'm really good right now. So I'll just get this one, and that should be okay. Also very uneven floor at the beginning of this level. I'm not sure why. It's very curious. I'm sure nothing will happen there though, where the safe book was located. But first we have to fight some boggarts that Harry mistakes as Dementors because he's stupid. Even though Lupin literally told him that he's gonna, you know, not be able to get Dementors into the castle, but oh well. We'll see. I'm pretty sure we're fine on currency right now. I'm not too worried. I have taken some safety extra things so far. And those skulls, they don't have too much, and they're honestly very, very slow, so I don't know, we'll see. We'll find out at the end. For now we're defeating the Dementors. You have to charge your wand about, like, I don't know, 1/3 up the way, and oh no, it's a trap. I am actually not sure if that card is technically missable, or if this only opens after you get the card. But thankfully for us, for people like me that tend to miss things, you can buy every single card in this game at the vendors in the castle for beans, which is a problem in Hundo because you don't have too many beans left over, usually in a normal run. But if we really have to, we just go and farm some beans, and then we can buy a card if we should miss it in the level. The only problem is if it's in a secret. Oh, it is missable? Oh wow, I had no idea. That's cool. Well, then I'm even happier that I didn't miss it. This level has a trigger in the air, which you can swing into in quite some wild fashion in any percent. In Hundo we need to do the kind of slower strat to hit it like this. And that trigger puts Hermione behind the door, like she usually does in the normal level playthrough. And then casting on this carpet makes us switch to Hermione, which is very convenient. We don't have to build the staircase, we don't have to get Hermione up there, we don't have to open the door. We do it all with the triggers that the devs just left floating in the level. Like, HP devs have a tendency to do that. In both HP2 and HP3 there is just triggers in the air where they thought it would be like unreachable, obviously, but it's not. And then there's the final trigger in this game that's definitely not unreachable even for non-speedrunners, so yeah. I don't know, they just like their triggers in spots the player can access for no reason. Yeah, I was also warning people about this before. It's one of the mini games we have to do. This one is not as bad as Pixies, but it's also not incredibly fun. We have to fight 5 waves of this monster book to get 5 cards. There's a bit of a strategy to this. You don't want Hermione or Ron to kill a page, because they do less damage than you do. So you always want Harry to have the killing blow. That's pretty much about it, though. You're kind of in the mercy of the AI, of where they aim at, if they help you or if they destroy your pages. Yeah, at least in HP2 you need brightness boosting to, or wall walks I guess, to hit those triggers. In this game they left it literally in the door, floating about, and you can just jump into it at the very end. It's the third one. At least this one is relatively quick. But yeah, I don't know if we have any donations, but if there's something, it's still a good time. If there isn't, then we'll just continue with some monster book slaying. Because, you know, we're far from over. One more phase. Another cool detail, we have 2 chocolate frogs spawning every single phase of this fight. Which, I don't know who in their right mind ever needed those. Like, even when I was 10, I didn't need all of those chocolate frogs. But it's another sign that they made those games a lot easier for children. HP 1 and 2 are actually reasonably difficult, I'd say. This game, they made it so incredibly easy, it's kind of a joke. Which is good for speedrunning, because it doesn't punish mistakes like as heavily. But it's... yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. In case one of the characters gets hungry, I guess that's a fair point. But there we go, that's the monster book done. Into Glacius, which is a very long cutscene. Oh wow, that was a sick cutscene skip. Holy. Usually that one can take like seconds until it skips. Like, the strat is just to mash into it, but it sometimes works better than other times, so that was pretty dang good. Kinda sad I'm not running with splits now. I could gold this Glaciers, I feel like. But this level is also cool. I was talking about unique mechanics a lot. Once again, we have another unique mechanic. Because that's kind of the main thing they were going for in this game. But before we get to that, we do a small little warp here, get the card, and then the cutscene teleports you back. Because Harry has to look at the solid ice. I mean, who doesn't love solid ice, of course? We're all absolutely stunned by this. I'm more of a fan of liquid ice, to be fair, but it's okay, I accept the solid ice. But yeah, they also do yell Rick December a lot in this game. Even worse during Pixies, there's more Rick December yelling during that. So yeah, this is the mechanic. We can slide. It's one big ice/water slide, I guess. And there isn't too much to those. It's probably, in speedrunning terms, the most boring challenge, because you can't really abuse this much. The only interesting thing is the path you take on those, because sometimes the path fans out and goes to the left and the right, and you have to decide, which is kind of mean for casual players, because how are they supposed to know where the collectibles are? But thankfully I have played this game one or the other time, so we should be fine. I think I'll find everything. Oh, I missed the cauldron cake there, that's kind of bad. Now I'm getting kind of scared that we're gonna be short. Oh boy. We'll see. Should be okay still. We get all 3 here, so it's alright. And then there's a small shortcut here. We don't have to take the stairs. Like a true speedrunner, we jump down the stairs, of course. There we go. I almost missed that shield, I think. Maybe it is for the replay value, that's true. When you can go left or right. I mean, there's also a strat that is used, at least I think it's used. I'm not too sure about the route, but I think it's used in all wizard cards in this game to get more currency. Exactly in this spot, where all wizard cards goes to the right and collects everything and then voids out on purpose, like falls out of the slide, to go the left side and collect all the currency as well. So there's a way you don't have to replay the challenge, you can just cheese it by intentionally sliding out. But for 100% we do not have to do that. The final shield in this... oh god, yeah. The final shield in this challenge is quite something. There is a fairly consistent setup for it, which I hope I'm not gonna mess up. But it is a pain. It's really bad. The bane of a lot of people's childhood and speedrunning careers. Oh, what the hell? I don't know what happened there, but sure, Harry. I think we slightly clipped into the ledge. This isn't even a secret, but it's just so much currency you kind of don't want to leave it. Or maybe it is a secret, I don't know. I don't think so. But those side rooms are pretty unspectacular. They have a lot of currency, they have a cart. Which puts us to 27, so we're almost a quarter, more than a quarter there, which is kind of sick. Oh, it is a secret, okay. I didn't see the thing pop up, but I guess it makes sense. But there's also so much currency, I don't think you would pass by either way. More imps, those are awful in any percent, and they have killed an incredible amount of runs for me. Because manipulating those is kind of difficult. This went okay. You gotta be careful here to not jump onto this too early before the shield is all the way up, because that way you can just miss the shield, and nobody wants that. Ah, okay, I thought I missed again. But there we go. That's the 5th secret, which means we're also good for glaciers. And I do believe we will have all shields and all cards. So for now, I hopefully have not invalidated this yet, which is good. That was my goal. I don't care about the time, I just want the valid HP3 on though. Just gotta put your goals low, and then it feels better when you succeed. Or we'll see, I guess. Yeah, as the final slide. What you're supposed to do here casually is just not speed up. And just do this, the entire slide in like the snail speed that this gives you. But obviously we can't afford that. If you do that, the final shield like lines up perfectly. For us it's gonna be on a weird cycle, so we have to turn left and hold back and left as hard as we can. And then 9 out of 10 times you get that shield. There is times where that fails for some reason, but most of the time you grab that in mid-air. And there we go, that's Glacius, all 10 challenge shields. Which means we have another 2 minutes in the beam bonus room, collecting currency, kind of not doing much else. That's one of the things with HP3, there's a lot of grinding, it's a lot of either beating enemies for very long or collecting stuff for very long. I cannot wait for the card buying segment. That is gonna be the most riveting thing you'll see all Potterthon, I'm telling you now. So you can be stoked for that in like half an hour or something. Yeah, we'll bring in Ron again, of course. Just so he can look at what cool sweets Harry gets to collect. Gonna make him suffer that he had to quit his beam bonus room early. Harry has less cauldron cakes than Hermione. Not by much, but well, a good couple. It's a good bit. He has less on the Spondrifer tiles, and there's less that drop at the end when you've been everywhere. Oh yeah, that's the thing I actually didn't explain last time, but the beam bonus room is kinda weird. There is currency that drops from the ceiling and like sweets, but it only drops if you've been everywhere at least once, like physically. If Harry has walked everywhere. Like not every pixel obviously, but every general area, like all of those side rooms and below where the knights are and stuff. So once you've done that, the ceiling opens and drops all of the things. Yeah, it's such a shame that you don't have enough time to actually collect everything after the spell challenges, except at the very end of the game, where you just don't need currency anymore. Like, it was really fun as a child as well to have the infinite time in the beam bonus room and just completely cleaning it out, but at that point, sadly, you can't spend it on anything anymore, so it's kind of pointless. I guess you can buy chocolate frogs with it or something, but yeah. Alright, we got everything, which means it's time for Ronald Weasley to re-enter. And asking for the third time what the beam bonus room is. He really cannot remember.
I think Ron also asked if there were any donations. Maybe I heard that wrong, but I think that's what I heard.
I think he did, yeah.
And we have a $20 donation by Bas Mulder 03 saying, let's make this a total round 50 for me. Give Hufflepuff a boost, putting his incentive towards Hufflepuff. And that means that as of now we've crossed the $400. Thank you everyone so much. We're well, I've said it quite a few times already, but we're popping up. Thank you guys so much. And we are only $20 off of putting the HY1 GBA game swap interval down by 5 seconds.
How long do they have until that, actually? Until that?
That run will happen tomorrow at 10 in... What is it? CEST, yes. So 12 hours from now. To put that either to 15 seconds to 10 seconds, or if you guys can do it, maybe even to 5 seconds will be utter chaos. So let's hope we can get there. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Then I'm not worried. Then we're definitely going to reach it in 12 hours, surely.
Yes. Also, the Hogwarts Legacy incentive will be up for 3 more hours, 2.5 more hours. And how is that currently looking? Let me quickly check. Hufflepuff currently in the lead with 170, Slytherin, then Ravenclaw with 110, and Slytherin with 100, and Gryffindor at 0. But yes, Team Puff still going strong in the lead.
Yeah, very nice. GG's to the Hufflepuff so far. We'll see if that changes until the Legacy run gets played. We've entered the one level that is not a spell challenge, that has secrets, and it greets us with arguably the worst secret in the entire game. This random skull up there, if you cast on it you get a secret, and 1 cauldron cake, which it doesn't even feel worth it. I've lost several runs to missing something in this level though. It has a lot of secrets, I think 5, I knew that. I just accidentally paused, I obviously knew it was 5 secrets. So let's not miss them. We actually have to make sure to go to everything. That's kind of the only important thing here. There's barely any currency to collect. There's barely anything else. There's 1 card at the end that you can't really miss. So the rest we just kind of play like any percent. Rushing through this as quick as we can. It's not that fun of a level, I'd say. I was terrified of this as a child because of the skeletons that get summoned kind of out of thin air. Like, at least in this room, all of a sudden they just appear, which genuinely terrify me. But thankfully nowadays I can spawn camp them, so they get that back nowadays. All the terror they put me through. This secret is especially tricky because sometimes I do this, I cast at the chest and just get the cauldron cakes, but not go into the secret, so you can easily miss that one. Obviously I made sure now. And then Harry falls down into a trap, oh no. But conveniently, on Hermione's path, there's a dragon statue. It's exactly the spell she learned. Man, that is really lucky. Imagine Hermione would have fallen down there and Harry would have stayed up. I think they would be stuck here until the end of Potterthon. So we got kind of lucky there. We can also go into the secret like this, of course.
Sorry, I panicked.
Wait, what happened?
I thought you were gonna miss the secret, so I quickly yelled secret.
Yeah, I do this the other way around to everyone else, just because it's like more convenient for me movement-wise. I don't know why. Like, I've started doing that at some point, and now I'm kind of used to it, getting the secret last. Which does not mean I have never missed that. I absolutely have. So thank you for making sure.
Yes. Also, now that I'm here, quick rectification: the legacy goal is up for 6 more hours. I kind of confused that with the legacy run, which will be happening in 3 hours, which is a different one. So that goal is you can still enter the poll for like another about 6 hours.
Perfect. So a lot of time left to get your house into the lead. That's the 5th secret, which is all of them. Very nice. Not an invalid run. Perfect. I think everything from this point on is technically recoverable. So we're good. This run will be valid. This run will finish. We have an HP3 run on our hands. More skeletons. Bit of an annoying mechanic because you have to... Like, if you want to go extra fast, you have to kind of predict whenever Hermione is gonna be on the skeleton. Which, it's always about the same time, but it's really scary. If you cast too early and it's just your spell, it's just really bad. So anything that has to do with co-op and AI in this game, it's a bit annoying. It's a lot better than an HP4 though, which you get to see later in this marathon. I believe tomorrow? I might be wrong. But the AI in this game is actually kind of useful. Like, they usually help you relatively consistently, unlike in HP4. Oh, tonight even. Okay, perfect. So not even that long until then. That's... yeah, you'll see some bad AI during that run, probably. There we go, that's the one card we have in this. Yeah, I mean, Blaze knows how to deal with the AI, obviously, in HP4, but still, they can still troll you and completely destroy your run. We have some plot dump coming up. This cutscene is kind of interesting, because it's one of the few cutscenes that has any plot. They rush through it like crazy in this. They have school challenge, like spell challenge, spell challenge, spell challenge. Oh, wait, there's something happening in this book. We actually have to put that in here somehow, and that's this level. So they realize, wait, we haven't progressed the story at all yet, so they do it all in one cutscene. It's the big reveal. Sirius is innocent, Lupin is his friend, Pettigrew is not a rat. And Ron is honestly terrified, which I can't blame him for. That's a lot for a couple of seconds.
It wasn't Sirius Black who betrayed
I mean, so is Harry. By the look on his face. And this might get loud. I hope it's not too bad. This is the loudest part of the run, because the mentors are very poorly audio balanced. No, it doesn't sound too bad at all. This is, I guess, the boss fight of this game, or one of the 2 boss fights. It's kind of underwhelming. There's a strat though, while they despawn, you can cast Expecto Patronum, and your spell, you might have seen it to the left, can hit the next Dementor that spawns in. It's a bit RNG based. Sometimes there's no Dementor spawning where you're aiming. Because they have random spawns, but usually it works consistently. So you can hit one of them early, saving a little bit of time. Yeah, the devs speedran through the story, that's true. The first ever speedrun of this game was when the devs made it, I think.
You sure you set the time turn about the right amount?
We have another kind of story mission though. We went back in time to save Buckbeak from execution. And I guess also Sirius from prison, to be fair. This level is kinda cool.
You did it!
It feels like a kind of a nice puzzle level to me all the time.
Oh no!
Even though the puzzles are very obvious, but it's still like Harry does something, Hermione does something. Slowly but surely you advance through the level. And it also has a lot of currency that we can collect, which always feels good. I really hope I'm good on cauldron cakes. I'll definitely get the 3 in here. Even though you have to slow down a little bit with the dragon to get those, because they're very high up. Cool secret, by the way, in my opinion, with those. I mean, it's not a secret, but cool hiding place.
That help?
We're on 82.
Hold tight. I'll see what's in there.
I think that's fine. We'll find out, I don't know. We'll see whenever we go shopping at Fred and George, which is actually very soon. You might think this run is actually over soon, if you haven't seen this game ever before, because we're already traveling back in time. It's only rescuing Sirius from the Dementors and we're good, right? But no, not with the devs of this game. They wanted us to do more school stuff, so there's gonna be exams, which takes quite a bit to get through all 3 exams for all 3 people. And then obviously we have some Hundo stuff left, which is my favorite part of the run.
Now we're both stuck in here.
And a lot of shopping, yeah, there's definitely a lot of shopping left, which is my least favorite part of the run, so light and shadow definitely coming up still in this. Well, that was good. Hermione actually helped us. She aims kind of at a random pixie here. And at this point it was actually a good random pixie that I didn't aim at before. It is a big part in the books, or maybe not a big part, but it's described in the books quite a bit, the exams. Especially Care of Magic, no, especially, what's it called? Defense Against the Dark Arts, if I recall correct. So it is kind of true. It's nice that they have it in this game. Following the books a bit more than the movies at least. Oh, no, my pumpkin, cool. And there we go, that's it. We've rescued Buckbeak, we went back in time, and we have more loud Dementors. So this is the actual boss fight of the game, which again is very underwhelming.
I don't know if that's then a bad time to read donation, I'm not sure how loud it is.
Perfect. I mean, it might be a bit loud though.
Yeah, just be a little bit louder. Because somebody took their opportunity when we were on 400 and Koitsu donated $20.69, saying, nice, bringing our grand total up to $420.69. And also meeting the first part of the Harry Potter 1 GBA game swap. The intervals are already down to 15 seconds. Thank you so much. We are now starting the next one. For another $100, the time will go down from 15 to 10, so you can still put your donations towards that. But it's already gotten more chaotic. Thank you guys so much, and nice on the number.
Yeah, good to see people getting those memes in there. That was beautiful. Very, very, very nice. Yeah, we're supposed to go to the exams now, but we do not quite do that yet. Because we have some things to buy. I mentioned them at the start. There's those portrait passwords that you buy in Fred and George's shop. And they all have a card at the end. So we need all 8 of them. We need all 8 anyways. It's like part of the completion checklist. But there's multiple reasons essentially why we have to buy those. We do not have enough money to afford all of them quite yet. Fields Ron Weasley, man. But we're gonna buy all the ones we can buy. Which I believe is 5, if I didn't slack on Cauldron Cakes. This segment is really awful in an actual run as well, because every voice line that both Fred and George and Harry have is random. Those are pretty good ones right now, actually. Of course, when I don't have a timer running. That's also not a terrible one. Not great though. So every single voice line with the shopping is fully randomized. That's the worst one, I think. So if you get that one 5 times, you lose actually quite a significant amount of time. Imagine we would allow that, just deleting the voice lines, just insta-buying. Yeah, or just have a redub. Okay, it turns out we had exactly the amount of Cauldron Cakes we needed. That was a bit scary, but I mean, we have 1 more than we need even, so easy. Calculated, never worried. Good thing I got the ones and back in time. There's a small trick here, because you're supposed to have a cutscene taking those stairs, but you can jump over the trigger and make it down like this, which is a lot faster. Because this game doesn't have fall damage. They didn't really think you could fall down from somewhere super high, so... Oh, nice. Good start. I was tempted to reload the level, because I don't know how the cycles are gonna be now, but... Well, we have Carpe Final. Notoriously difficult level, and I've been absolutely nailing it right at the start. This death is actually intentional for once, so we can get onto this platform. Cycles seem to be alright, actually. Not an amazing start, but you're supposed to swing around that first column. Those challenges have challenge shields again, and the issue with those is you cannot replay them. So if you're missing a shield in here, well, you can replay them, but only once. So you can replay them from the castle. So if you're missing a shield in here, it's kind of bad news, especially if you don't realize. Oh my god. Yeah, one of the hardest levels, and I'm kind of struggling with it right now. There we go. It does have a cool trick though, because if you see this gate, if you look at it very closely, then it disappears. Which is a very interesting way of coding they have. Or I don't know, I honestly don't know why this happened. If it's the devs code or the engine, I have no idea. But quite a few objects just disappear if you change the resolution. Or not the resolution, the graphic detail. It was a very scuffed explanation, but I think you got the gist of it. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. If we ever have the honor to interview the HP3 devs, I'll be very curious to know why that happened. There's a couple more examples for this in Buckbeak later on. When we do the Buckbeak flying, when we finish the last 4 courses. A lot of the trees are just gone, including the hitboxes, which makes it so much easier. I am actually bad at this game though. That's fine. This wasn't a horrible Carpa final. This run was pretty good, but this Carpa final was not. Yeah, also there's a cool skip here. I could have probably tried it. I should have went for it. Where you like essentially swing from here onto the platform, which is incredibly difficult. I don't know how much of a frame window you have, but very, very tough skip. Very, very bad Carpa final, but it's okay. We're almost out. We're getting those golden cakes. We're swinging across. There we go. And then you gotta make sure to not press replay. I've done that before multiple times, because you have to replay it all the way over again from the beginning. I'll go for a dumb strat here because it's Potterthon. It's not very smart to do because it's kind of difficult, but let's see. So, I didn't jump. So essentially, you got the idea. You're supposed to, well, you can. You're not supposed to, it's very difficult. But you can make it all the way across in those windows. And then jump onto this little thing to the right here, this fence. The alternative strat is what I just did, casting at the bunny, let it bounce on the tile, and then get up like this. Use this window and this jump, which is very free, and you also make it. I'm a bit sad I didn't pull that off. Last HP3 run I did, I got it. Oh well. Pretty sure my PB does it as well. But we get to one of the most frustrating segments for children. At least for completionist children. Because it is the one timed section of this game, apart from the beam bonus room, I guess. So once we enter this, there's gonna be a timer running down that refreshes every room, every segment. And I hated this so much. It was so impossible to get everything before the timer runs out, and it just resets you back to the start. And then you have to do like multiple fly-throughs of this, essentially. It was absolute torture. Thankfully nowadays, I mean, I skip a lot of the currency here, so it's not really a problem. Like, this is very easy in the speedrun. But god, the segment is frustrating. For children, yeah, I mean, even for adults, of course, this can be very frustrating. It's not easy getting everything. Like, I remember doing max %, so essentially getting everything you can in the game, where we had to get all beans and all pumpkins. And it was really dang close. I don't actually remember if I've done it without timing out, but I don't think so, even. So, yeah, it's hard. The devs wanted to torture some children, I guess. Well, that came out wrong, but they wanted to make them replay this over and over again. To have some extra fun with flying. Yeah, it doesn't feel right, like, leaving the beans behind. I have to admit. When I play stuff casually, I'm usually collecting everything I see. Like, I hate missing stuff and collectibles. But even in 100% speedruns, sadly, we're not getting quite everything. There's some things that are just too slow. Probably some playtime padding for this, yeah. Okay, we got all 5 shields, which means we can exit this. Get to Harry's final. I'm a bit worried about my currency, but I'm still gonna do this because it's cool. And then we'll worry about currency later. I've mentioned the lag jumps in Transfic. You can do one here and get past the death plane. And then thankfully, at the end of the level, or at the end of the slide, it extends far enough to still void you out and spawn you there. So you skip the entire slide, don't have to slide down at all, and you spawn essentially where you're supposed to go. So that lag jump pretty cool, kind of the slight skip of this game. And I might regret doing that because there is like 4 pumpkins and 3 cauldron cakes or something on the slide. If I end up 3 cauldron cakes short, then we know why. But I just kind of thought it's cool to show off because it's a nice trick. This final is pretty much the Richter Sempra final, even though they brand it as Glacier's final. It absolutely, like, it has nothing to do with Glaciers except the beginning slide, which is really a short part of it. I think most people hate this, it's a really dumb one. It has RNG at the end with imps, it's just super long, it's kinda boring. You can jump through those shields and not get them, which is also very fun. So there's a lot of issues with this, especially for 100%, but we'll get through it, I'm sure. And then we have some more fun stuff coming up. Like trading for 10 minutes straight, for example. Which I can't wait for. It's not that long, but it takes a bit. And they spawn pixies, which is more Richter Sempra, of course. There is at least somewhat of a trick on the bottom floor. We're gonna reuse... Oops. That was kind of scary. Almost jumped through the shield, I feel like. We're gonna reuse the turn cast we've already done a couple times. Because there's salamanders behind this. And those gates only raise after you defeat 4 enemies. Or lower, rather. The interesting thing is that it can be any 4 enemies. So now it's gonna lower. Wait, it's not? Did I miss a salamander? Oh wait, no, that's not true actually. The imps spawn in after you defeat 4 enemies. The gates lower after you defeat 6, I guess. I don't really know. There's something, you know, they count the enemies you defeat here and stuff happens. Long story short. So you can snipe those through the wall to save some time. And there we go. Don't ask me about specifics. I thought I knew it, but I guess not. Turns out I don't know anything. Also, this segment as a child, I was incredibly into. Because what could be better than, like, money raining onto you? Which essentially in this game, this stuff is money, right? So, amazing segment. Very, very fun. End of this elevator. Alright, and there we go. That's the exams done. Which essentially marks the end of the game. But you might be thinking, wait, we're at like an hour or something. I don't see the timer, but something like that. What happens now? What's the last 30 minutes gonna be? And it's all gonna be cleanup in and around Hogwarts. So, hope you like exploration, because we're gonna do a lot of that. We have to still clean up the secrets, which this should be the final one that we need on the grounds. If it's not, then I've made some mistake along the way. 6 is correct. This one, if you're too slow, the floor lowers and you fall down. Obviously, if you're not a child, this is not that difficult. And we got good RNG. So I guess we do trading now. I can explain the RNG real quick in this run. The traders are random. Every NPC in this game, actually, apart from some very few ones, are random. So they can be any gender, any facial features, any hair color, any skin color, prefects, house, all is random. So this trader happens to be a Hufflepuff girl. And girl traders have faster lines than boy traders in this game. So the first girl trader you see, you actually want to trade to. Which makes this segment a little bit RNG, but there's like so many you pass that it's almost impossible. Like, it happens, but it's very rare that you find, or that you have a run where you don't find any female traders. So we got quite lucky. We buy 16 cards here. I think up to 48. There isn't much to this, so if Renee has anything to add, any donations or anything, I think it's a very good time.
I do, as a matter of fact.
Perfect.
We have a $5 donation by SLS saying, "Sorry, I must destroy the meme."
You've got a deal.
This very fair, and also starting us off to that next 5-second goal in the 1 GBA game
Wanna
swap.
buy a collector's card, Harry?
And,
Great.
well, this segment will take a while still, right?
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Because then we, once again, we're raising money for the Trevor Project, and I'm gonna once again read their own description from Tiltify, because once again, who else to describe them better than themselves? The Trevor Project is the leading suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning young people. They work to save young lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend their time. A 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and through their, I'm assuming, their own Trevor space.
Collector's cards.
They also provide education, engage in advocacy efforts, and develop research. They save the lives of LGBTQ young people in crisis every single day.
Cards, Harry.
When the young people feel lost, they're there to let them know that they're not alone, whenever and wherever they reach out. Their deeply empathic crisis care helps to access their inner strength and resilience.
Cheers.
And they go beyond crisis services to create a more welcoming world for LGBTQ young people, forging a collective system of support and validation. The results? Real, lasting impact. They help young people see the possibility of a future for themselves.
Do you collect cards?
So not only do they help the people directly by contacting people, the young LGBTQ people who struggle with mental issues, but they also fight for a better tomorrow. And that's where your guys' money is going towards. So thank you so much for that.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. We happen to be short of funds, which I don't quite know why, but it's fine. We can get those pumpkins, I'm sure. For now, though, we unfortunately are not out of the grindy parts yet, because it's another one of those mini games. It's pixie time, so same as the monster book earlier, we have to defeat 5 waves of pixies for a card each. There's gonna be a lot of Rick Decembers, that much I can tell you. I can already warn you about that. So this segment is very fun. That's the only small thing I dislike about HP3 Hundo. I do really like this run, it's one of my favorites in HP speedrunning, I think I would say. But the grinding towards the end is a little bit annoying. Like, there is a lot to do before you actually get all the cards in this. And I don't know why, but I talk about childhood me a lot, or child me, today. But I weirdly enjoyed this when I was young. I just kinda had fun with this. I guess because it was like super easy, I don't know. I felt superior to the pixies. I guess that was a good feeling. I really don't know. But nowadays, I don't enjoy it that much anymore. The AI is also like a thing here, by the way. As you can tell, they are helping you. Better than the HP4 AI ever could. So you sometimes get lucky and they snipe some. There's also a very fun glitch that can happen here that instantly ends your run. I mean, we could reload so it wouldn't end the run, but it's really bad. Because one of the pixies can end up inside the well. And you just cannot hit him. Like, you would just be gone, essentially. He's so deep in that you cannot hit him with Rick December anymore. Which means you have to reload your save. It's a lot of time. I mean, at least it saves after every stage. But still, you can lose up to like 2 minutes, and it's just demotivating is all hell. So usually people reset when that happens. It's been a while for me, so let's hope, fingers crossed, it's not gonna happen today. But I guess we'll find out. For now, it's still going well. And it's also kind of weird that this needs some focus. Like, you wouldn't think it does, but it's weirdly difficult to keep on aiming at the things.
Well, that's a perfect time for some more donations then.
If we have any, absolutely.
We do. We have a $4.31 donation by Boss Mulder yet again, saying let's break it further and make the number round again. Thank you so much. And we have a $20 donation by Piccolo917, saying too late to destroy the meme, but at least I can add to contribute to a good cause while your cat is rubbing his face all over yours. That's very adorable. Thank you so much for the donations. And also putting them once again towards the GBA game swap. Which, I guess maybe it's a good time to explain that again.
Yeah, for sure.
So tomorrow at 10 CET, yes, Finn and Dino will be doing HP1 GBA, which is a 2-minute run, but they'll be playing it like 10 times at the same time. And originally every 20 seconds, which game they're playing, which instance they're playing is going to change, and it's going to change randomly. So it's going to be very confusing. And since we hit the first goal, it will be lowered to 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds the game changes. And we're already making progress towards dropping it again, which means every 10 seconds it will change. So that will be even more chaotic. And if you guys manage to smash that, we could even go down to 5 seconds, which will mean absolute mayhem, and it's going to be really entertaining to watch.
Yep.
And I'm really looking forward to that.
Hello, Harry. Back
Yeah,
for some more
100%.
riding, are
So
ya?
definitely keep that up towards that goal. Also, interestingly enough, what SLS says in chat, we have passed Potterthon 8th the 8th Potterthon. I can't say the word, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. We've passed the donation total of that, which is pretty sick. Which was the last one, right? Yes. This is Potterthon 9, I hope. I think. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think you can put it to 0 seconds. 5 is the minimum that's like realistic for the game swap run. And that's bad enough. Like trust me, people, it's gonna be painful for them, so it's a good thing. It's a good cause as well to put that towards. Also, we've entered Buckbeak, which is a very chill segment. It has really good music. Probably one of my favorite themes next to the main menu theme. And it is also not super easy. The last time I did an HP3 run, which I think was Wednesday, I somehow failed the last stage twice. Which shouldn't happen, but just in case it does, I'm already looking for excuses. I'm not sure, I didn't come up with anything yet, but I'll find something. But for now we have the easy ones.
It's for the donations, right? Just like Kaz failing Nick Skip.
True. That's a good one. I'll keep that one in mind in case I need it. Thank you. Yeah, we have the easy ones. Like green rings and blue rings are very free. Yellow rings are a bit harder. You can miss 5 and still make it, and then the very final one, the red rings, you can only miss 3. Yeah, I've done the GBA game swapper once. It took a while. It wasn't that bad, but I think I also had a way bigger interval. I think I put like 30 seconds in or something, so they're already far below that, so I can only imagine how bad that's gonna be. But yeah, this is still chill. The first time we're expanding the course here to the left, which is kinda nice. They showcase this side of the track. Sometimes you bonk a bit in this, which is always a very satisfying sound. Oh no. Sometimes you miss rings, which thankfully right now doesn't matter yet. But it will in red and yellow. Those are the scary ones. And the issue with this is it's essentially run over as well if you fail it. Like I said it before, HP3 is forgiving, but not in this. In this instance it's brutal, like plus 2 minutes or 2:30 or so failing it. So you don't want that. Also, small skip at the end of flying. You've probably just seen me do it. I'll do it again after this and after red rings. But you can go to the menu and it still gives you the card. So the moment you go through the final ring, you already have the card in your inventory. You don't have to wait for the cutscene and for Hagrid to drop it onto you and for him to congratulate you. You just go to the menu and the game considers it done. Which saves a lot. Considering you do it for 4 challenges, or for 4 parkour pieces, it saves a lot. Wouldn't actually know how much, but I expect like, I don't know, definitely more than a minute, I'm sure. So I don't really know how long the cutscene is, but it has to be at least like 20 seconds or so of him dropping the card. Oh, that's okay. I kinda got auto-scrolled there, which is a bit annoying. The controls for this are not amazing. There is a small trick in this to fly faster. I mean, I wouldn't really call it a trick, but it's actually a thing a lot of new runners don't know, including myself when I started out. But you can hold forward in the segment, and Buckbeak is actually faster. So a lot of people just fly up and down and control the direction, but holding forward is kind of required to go fast. So that may be why you would perceive Buckbeak as a bit faster right now. In some segments you actually go too fast, so you have to let go of it if you want to get all the rings. Especially in red rings, there's a couple of like tight spots. Also, you might notice there's no gate at the start, because we're on low graphics once again. They've completely removed the gate. And a couple of trees. I've mentioned it earlier, but if the parkour seems to be like not super familiar, then it's because of low graphics. It just removes some items completely, including the hitboxes.
I hope they didn't remove the donations, because we have a couple.
I guess it seems like it didn't then.
Alright. We have a $2.75 donation from MinyCard saying, an incredible cause supporting people who deserve our love, support and compassion. Honored and proud to be but a small part of this amazing event. Thank you to all the runners, commentators, hosts, tech, artists and more for making this weekend possible. I agree with all of that, except but the small part. You're a huge part of this, Miny, and we all love you. And we also have a $5 donation by Jagodu saying, who is this guy and why is he playing bad games instead of 7 Part 1 DS?
That's a good point, actually. It's a bit of a shame that game didn't make it in. I know it's been submitted, but I think Liam doesn't have time this weekend. Yeah, thank you so much to both of you for the donations. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm usually known for the DS games, of course. That's my number one games I run, because they're super fun. But today I thought I'd branch out for some 3 PC. Just, you know, it's a cool game as well. It's not as fun as the DS games, but, you know, sometimes I enjoy it. I think we have everything. Yeah, 6 out of 6, just to make sure. I have to not forget stuff in the castle. I have done that before. Actually, I would have almost done that in my last HP3 run, to be fair, to make it invalid. A certain Renee prevented me from that, actually, and reminded me of the secret. Also, Peeves is here. Also, Peeves is gone. There's a fight here, usually, which is actually kind of cool. It's like an after-class fight, like during the Endless Day, when you're kind of done with the entire game already. And you're supposed to use like glaciers on them and stuff. It's fairly lengthy, but we don't do that. We just kind of go out of the castle again because of continuity. People said it earlier in chat, I think, but when you do the Fred and George skip at the very beginning, you do not lower the gate. The gate that's supposed to prevent you from going out is still up. But then the moment you enter the castle, the gate is supposed to go up, but instead it goes down because it was up before, if that makes any sense. So it's in the reverse state it's supposed to be in, which then means you can just leave the castle and come back. And it leaves Peeves completely confused, and he just doesn't fight you anymore. Oops. That was one of the portrait passwords as well. I didn't really mention it, but those are the kind of things we buy from Fred and George. Those little bonus secret areas, kind of. They all have a magical creature card at the end. Without exception, it's all Fantastic Beasts. I don't remember the last one. We got Pixie, I think. Or Doxy. One of them was in the last portrait. And also the crabs in this are the biggest nuisance ever. Wait, what? See? I told you they are. They are different, like they have different properties than the other crabs in this game. So they bounce like crazy. So getting them in there is actually incredibly difficult. I mean, look at this. Okay, that was a lucky bounce at least. So this can troll you quite a bit if you're towards the end of your 100 run and you're doing well and then this happens and it's just this perch. I think that's the boat truckle card. Bit unfortunate there. Male trader means we do not want anything to do with them, of course. We do not want his slow voice lines. We'll see what we have here. It's another guy.
Over here.
I do like his accent, it's very lovely, but still very slow, unfortunately. So we continue.
Dirigible.
Don't want those slow voice lines.
Luma.
We go to this secret instead. Maybe get some better RNG on the way out. There's one really in the way on the 5th floor. And then if we don't happen to get like a female trader, we trade with the Scottish guy on the 7th floor. That is our last resort. But it is a bit slow, so ideally we get some better RNG, but we'll see. I think I need, what, 55 cauldron cakes at this point, so we're pretty close, which is good. We should be able to afford the portraits that we're missing on our way up to Fred and George's shop. So this is pretty much just castle cleanup. We get the secrets and we get the portrait passwords and then we buy everything that we haven't bought yet. Anything that's left. Yeah, it's hard to resist, to be honest, when he calls you over. That's a good point. You really do want to buy something from that guy. This secret is kind of cool. Probably my favorite. I really hope for a specific glitch to happen here, but the chance is very, very low, but I'm not going to spoil it in case it does happen. So for now we're just fighting our way through here. Some more imps, some more currency. Pretty chill, standard secret. It also has the gnome card at the end, which is one of my absolute favorite wizard cards in this entire series. And no Sims glitch. Unfortunate. So there's a thing that can happen there if you... I mean, I guess if you get unlucky because you get one cauldron cake less, but instead of collecting it, the final cauldron cake sometimes keeps hovering over Harry's head, or above his head. So it's kind of like the Sims icon, if people are familiar with the series, which I'm sure you are. So until you leave the secret, it just keeps on floating above Harry, and it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that one for reference, thank you. In case people are curious. Unfortunately, bad RNG again. This guy's gonna be equally as slow. I think that's our last trader, unfortunately, so we probably have to live with the slow voice lines of the Scottish guy in the 7th floor. But that's okay. What can you do? It's marathon luck after all. At least we didn't get any new, like, obscure soft lock yet, so that's usually what happens during marathons. So honestly, I cannot take this. Should be good. They're all very interesting, like, unique portrait passwords, I gotta say. I'm very happy they put those onto the game. That's the part I really enjoy about Hundo, just getting through those. Collecting currency, collecting cards. Kinda just makes me feel like I'm, what, 10 again whenever I played this for the first time?
Harry, come over here.
I guess so, Raz. True, did we have that yet? Any donations like that? Can have also part of a marathon. Oh, you have donations, yeah?
Yeah, if you have the time.
Sure.
We have a $22.25 donation by Anonymous saying, "From the young queer me to the other queer folk with not so much luck." Thank you so much for that donation, that means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also putting their donation towards Ravenclaw. And we have another $2 donation from Darlin saying, "Massive thank you to everyone involved in this marathon. Very cool to be able to make even a small difference in someone's life." I agree 100%. Thank you guys so much for the donations.
And I believe that means Ravenclaw's catching up, right? In the legacy thing.
Well, let's quickly have a look. Currently, Ravenclaw is in the lead with $179.94, followed by Hufflepuff with $177.06. So less than $3 behind.
Wow.
Slytherin still at 100 and Gryffindor in 0.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I heard the window sound as well, and it's kind of scaring me. I wasn't sure if that's on my end, but I guess it was then. But it all seems good, I think. We're still live. That's what matters. Sorry, everyone, for the little trigger there, but I don't know what that was, to be completely real with you. But since everything relevant still seems to work, we'll just continue getting our portrait passwords and our cards. Yeah, it's probably of us putting HP3 into quarantine. That sounds about right. Yeah, we don't need cauldron cakes anymore. We have more than enough. Need a couple more pumpkins, but I think we're good. We have one more portrait password, but I do believe this currency should be perfect.
Harry, come over here.
We should be on a very good numbers, and there should be no problem. But we'll see.
Snafflejack.
This is the last one, which it's always kind of triggering me that this portrait has cauldron cakes. Even though after this, you cannot buy anything with it anymore, they're useless. This is the very last thing, like entering this area is the last thing you can buy with cauldron cakes. So the fact that you can get more in here is kind of pointless. But when I was a child, I didn't really care. I just really enjoyed collecting the currency. So I assume that's why they did it. Same vibes as allowing us to clean out the bean bonus room without a timer in the end for getting every wizard card. That is the unicorn, I believe. Yep. Very nice card. Pretty amazing card art, actually. It's a bunch of pumpkins. And then, yeah, fingers crossed that we're gonna be good, because I did not do the maths. I just trust my route that I'm gonna be good on pumpkins. We'll see how well that works. We have to buy the final cards from Fred and George. And then we're pretty much done. So time is coming up somewhat soon. I'd guess like 3 minutes or so.
It's a deal.
And I have no idea what we're on, but I do feel like this wasn't a terrible run. We'll see. Apart from Carpa, this was actually actually kind of okay.
I've got some collector's
We'll see.
cards for sale, if you're interested.
But yeah, it's the final cards. I think up to 70. Sometimes it's 69, but I think I bought some cards in Fred and George's show. 131 RTA though. That's not terrible. Like a 130 right now, loadless. Yeah, that makes sense. Not terrible, not terrible. I'll take it.
More buying equals more donation, right?
Absolutely.
We have another $18 donation by Buzz Mulder yet again, saying go Hufflepuff, putting Hufflepuff back in the lead. And even more important, crossing the $500 already. Thank you guys so much. We've barely started and we're already at $500. Thank you guys. That is honestly mental. Matching Potterthon 5 already in the first few hours.
Yeah, that is
Thank
insane.
you.
Sounds good.
Thank you
And we
everyone
hope-
for the generous donations. That's sick.
That's a highly priced.
There's a small fun fact as well that was told to me earlier during the stream. Apparently, after you buy the entire stock of one of the traders, they walk all the way down to the Carper Retractum challenge and go inside. I had no idea. I cannot confirm that either, but I
would do
just
that.
believe it because I would love if that's the case. So I guess the Scottish guy from the 7th floor has quite the way in front of him. But I hope he enjoys his Carper Retractum challenge. I hope he has fun. Yeah, even the card traders have to do exams. What can you do? School catches up to everyone. Yeah, this is the final beam bonus room. 5 more cards that we need. Again, technically we could get everything in here, but sadly we're speedrunners and we don't like fun, so we just leave this early. There's one final secret that I have to get. This time I won't forget, which is in the entrance hall. Yeah, it's a good question. The one on the grounds, I guess they just walk to the castle or something? I have no clue. Or maybe to Hagrid's hut, yeah. There we go. Final one, and time is coming up very shortly now. There's a small change in rule set here recently. Before that we had to watch the final cutscene, but now We can just hit the trigger for the final cutscene. That's time, by the way. Sorry, I was a bit late, but whatever. We can just hit the trigger. That's in the door. Good job, devs, letting that floating around. And there we go. The run has been completed. Thank you for the GGs. That was really fun.
What you did for Sirius Black and Buckbeak was truly
Not unhappy with the time either. I don't know what we're at, like 32 or so.
133.17, but that's real time too, right? So
Yeah, so it's probably like a 132 something. Not bad. Pretty okay.
As the Hogwarts Express carried him and his friends back.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably me for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with Jumpless. Don't miss that at like 1-ish my time, something like that. And obviously the marathon is gonna go on through the night and gonna continue all the way to Sunday evening. So definitely don't miss that either. A lot of really amazing runs lined up for you. Next, I think we have HP2 blindfolded, right?
yes. I quickly have like another donation to read. I do want to get those in there. We have a $2.22 donation from Aviana saying, "Thank you to everybody who is participating in this event. You are amazing." No, you are amazing for donating. Thank you so much. And with that said, I'm quickly gonna look how we're doing on schedule. We're good on schedule.
Perfect.
That is amazing. That means it's also gonna be it for me for hosting. I just want to thank you guys so much for popping off. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect this, and I'm honestly touched by how much you guys have donated. We're already at $500, and it's all to help people be allowed who they want to be. And I think that's very, very important. So thank you guys so much. It's been an honor that I've been asked to host this and to read out all your lovely words to the people. And yeah, I guess that's all for me.
Yeah, it was very well done, I'd say. I mean, from the beginning I've watched, it was very amazing hosting. So thank you for that.
Yes, so unless there's any final remarks on the HP3 run.
Not really. I mean, it was a decent run. Thanks for being here, everyone, of course. Thanks for the cheering on it in chat. Yeah, it was very fun. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the runs we have in this marathon.
Absolutely. Yeah, as Nixo said, next up, Luzak is going to be beating Rictus Sempra blindfolded, which is not an easy feat because in HP2 you don't have much of the audio cue, so that's going to be a really interesting one. We're going to go into a quick transition, but don't go anywhere because you're not going to want to miss that. So thank you guys for everything and stay tuned for the next run.